you remember Leon Jackson?
You can try your best to deceive, but I know where you've been now.
Well, he's the guy who won Xfactor in 2007. He had one successful song, followed by a few flops, and was never heard of again. Cynics reckon it was his sad sob story of a hard life that won the hearts of the British public.
Set out to pursue this because I loved singing. And then, as it went along, I knew I could potentially change my mum's life. Just done it.
Now Xfactor bosses have apparently had enough. According to the Sun newspaper, sob stories will not feature in this year's show. Instead, they'll focus on their search for artists with the prospect of sustaining long music careers.
This is love, this is life.
Bosses also want to shed their cheesy image.
Ice, ice, baby.
So it could be the end of acts like Same Difference or Jedward.
Every minute's like a love, every hour's like a day, every day lasts forever, but what else am I gonna do?
Since the likes of JLS set the standard, proving that finalists can make it big, bosses are ready for a shake-up. But will a different formula work?
Xfactor's in its 7th year now, so when a programme's been running for as long as that, there are changes that need to be made just to keep it fresh. People often battle against it. It's like last year when Simon brought in having the live audience for all the auditions, but it worked, and you do need to keep a show like that fresh.
And of course, the Queen of our hearts, Mrs. Cheryl Cole, will not be there either, thanks to a small case of malaria, so Pussycat doll Nicole will be stepping in. Xfactor is practically a British institution now. Let's hope these changes won't be the end of it.
You can't stop the cheese. The cheese is, I feel, cheese is there to stay. All these kind of shows need the cheese. You need something that's going to make you say, I can't watch this, but I can't move. Because at the end of the day, the cream will rise to the top. Just leave it as it is. What do they mean make it more edgy? I don't think that anyone's ever going to want to be on something like X Factor if they're just playing themselves in their houses, because they're cool as it is. You get a certain stigma. Remember you said that upstairs?
Yeah. You can't, I think pop music is cheesy. That's what the whole thing is. This is an entertainment programme, and I think if they're trying, they say want to make it more gritty, do they mean they want to make it more rock and roll? Because rock and roll is all about the underground, the sort of dark side. And if you want to get into music and you want to find the bands that nobody knows, and that you hear a lot of the time, oh, I knew them before they were successful, and that doesn't happen with bands like this. So they won't attract that type of act. They'll attract people who want to be famous and they want to be pop stars.
And they want to be cheesy.
Bubblegummy.
I think you're both absolutely right. I think that they shouldn't try to change the format. We were talking about Strictly last week, the week before, saying that they were trying to make changes. These are massively successful, popular shows, huge viewing figures. Why do they need to make the changes? People obviously like them the way they are. They have had edgier acts before. Diana Vickers, who's now very successful off her own back, she didn't go on to win X Factor because she didn't get the vote.
JLS?
JLS, I think they've got a cool element
You think
as
they're
well.
cool?
Yeah, I think
They're not overstarred? You don't think they're overstarred and they kind of got a nice kind of... There's a little bit of cheesiness
maybe a little
to them
bit
a bit.
cheesy, but they're not typical X Factor. And then you had Jamie Afro that was on there last year. He was more of a rocker.
Pub singer.
Probably.
Can you fail as a pub singer?
But he was good, he got a good voice, and he didn't get very far. Jedward got further than him, even though they couldn't sing. They were cheesy. People like the cheese on X Factor.
I like Jedward. I like watching
you
Jedward
like a bit
after
of
a while.
cheese. You
See,
like a bit of cheese.
I think, we talked about cheese. I think you can't really progress through the cheese if you've got Louis Walsh as a judge.
Is he Mr. Cheese?
Louis Walsh is Mr. Cheese.
He's
He
Mad
started
Pig on
using
cheese.
Boyzone. I love the lads, but Boyzone were the cheesiest boy band around.
Westlife cheesy?
Westlife. I think there's sort of there's an element
That's
of
a block of
cheese
cheese.
there. There's a block of Edam sat there on
But
stools.
Louis loves it, doesn't he?
He loves it. And he
cheese.
was the one that absolutely loved, Jedward, and he was the one that sort of it's all about entertainment. So I think they might have to look at the whole Louis Walsh vibe.
You think so?
Would Simon get rid of Louis though?
No, because he makes him look good.
Can I just say just quickly, there was something else I read about it where they're saying they want to try and get people on so as they can end up like Leona, so as they can be more credible and they can be longer lasting. That's what they should be doing from the start.
Yeah.
Well, they have done that.
How many people have come through and done more people? It's been going for how many years now? 7 years.
7 years.
And what really you got Leona Lewis and
That's it.
Well, it depends who applies. If they don't apply, then you're not going to get a Leona Lewis every single year. You're not going to get talent like
yeah,
that.
but 7 years you should have got more than just that.
Probably. But tell us what you think. Should the show ditch the cheese, or do you like things the way they are? Send us an email, studio@5.tv, or Facebook us, just search Studio 5. And don't forget, we're talking about secret wedding